A few months ago, I posted in a consultants forum. This is a closed private community. I just thought I'd share something that I was working on, and I was looking for kind of like little tweaks or hacks or ideas to improve it. Like that was it. It was just like a kind of innocent post. And because most of the consultants in the group aren't in Australia, I posted it, wake up the next morning. I was feeling really great. Like I had a coffee, gone for a run. It was a beautiful day. Then I checked my email and my heart sank. My stomach was in a knot because the feedback that I got overnight was not exactly what I expected. In fact, it was quite brutal, kind of ripping into what I had written. And I really, honestly, I took it very personally. And if you've listened to this podcast, you know I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky person. I'd like to say a couple of hours, I'd say it was lingering there for maybe half a day. I was trying to get on with stuff and focus, but it just kept coming in and kind of irritating me. And I screenshot the feedback and I sent it to my friend, Steph Clarke, who's been on this podcast a couple of times over the year. And even she said, she's like, I've got no words. It's like, oh, geez, okay, so that's kind of validates how I'm feeling. So she got it. And then I was like, what can I do? I can't continue feeling this way because this is completely unproductive. Managing your state is such we all know how important emotional regulation is. And I like to think I'm pretty good at it, but this kind of floored me. And then I was thinking of the Netflix, the Tom Brady roast, and I really enjoyed that. That also was quite brutal for Tom. And Nikki Glaser was definitely the standout comedian in that. I follow her on Instagram. I think she was the MC for the Golden Globes. But she's just been going from strength to strength since then because she completely knocked it out of the park on roast night. And so I thought, roasting, why Nikki was so funny is because a lot of the stuff she was saying it had this undercurrent of truth in it. And she thought, okay, why don't I read back the feedback that I got in this forum, but let's read it as if it's Nikki Glaser up there roasting me. And the second I did that, it was freeing, it was fun, that awful feeling in the pit of my stomach kind of disappeared when I saw it as a roast, not as something to take so personally. Of course, like I said, there's truth in what was written, and but instead of running away from it, scampering away from it, trying to defend myself, I was actually a bit more open in terms of channeling a bit of a growth mindset around, okay, I've got this. What is in this that indicates the feedback that I'm getting on it? And so this feeling around roasting, actually since then, other people wrote in the forum and they wrote really great considered responses. Nothing as brutal as the first response. And that has really helped me rethink a few things, update things as well. But I thought there's tremendous value in a roast, in brutal feedback. And how often do we get it? I don't know, whenever I do things I'll send it to a few peers of mine, and their feedback is generally pretty helpful, but it's also not. It doesn't lean on if there's a scale of brutality or violent feedback. It doesn't lean on that. They don't over-index on that. It's pretty, I'd say, tame feedback. It's helpful. It's like that kind of tweaking, editing, but nothing that just knocks you to your core. How often do we get that? And so I thought, okay, first of all, I definitely used her feedback to my advantage and have updated some things. And I thought, well, this is a useful thing to offer someone else. And so actually on my email list on Friday and on LinkedIn, I put out this new service I'm offering. I thought I'd share it here in case you're interested. But maybe it's more of an example of how you can turn something that maybe might seem damaging, not related to your strengths, into something that is helpful for someone else. And so my idea is Roasted by Leanne. And the concept is really around people are buying into brutal feedback, handed out by me with empathy and love. So what's different, I think, about what I'm offering with is that anyone can submit work, and it could be things like a workshop design, a speech, a book proposal idea or a concept, maybe a LinkedIn profile, maybe they're working on a website, some branding, things that I've had a bit of experience in and provide some opinion on. I kind of have done this actually with my corporate work internally. We don't really advertise this, but a lot of clients sometimes send me their programs, their corporate training programs, and I'll provide advice on that. I won't call it a roast, but that's essentially what I'm doing. And I actually get paid some good money for that service. But I thought, just for fun, I'm going to do a 5-day offer. So by the time you listen to this, I think it's on Monday. The roast, you can register for the roast by Wednesday, but then you have up to 6 months to submit whatever you would like roasted on. And the difference with this is rather than sending it as writing it in text and getting you to which kind of cuts out all the facial expressions, the tone of voice, which is so important. I'll record it on a video. I'll go through it. I will share my thoughts unfiltered, maybe even unhinged on what I think about it, but then also provide, like, if this was me, what are some practical, actionable things that you can do to improve whatever it is that you're submitting. I sent out the email this morning and people have bought it. And the amount of responses even to my email has been the most I've received in probably over a year in terms of resonant, like without just thinking it's a cool idea, something a bit quirky, it's attracting attention. So it's kind of fun just to even see that landing, just using language that is in pop culture that hits the moment. So yeah, if you want to submit something to me, I'll link to it in the show notes for this one. You only have 1 or 2 days from when you hit this podcast to get roasted by Leanne. But yeah, just wanted to share a bit of the story behind that and to say, like, if you've got some real feedback and you're not sure how to process it, I think it's completely normal. A couple of things are important. And one is to really think about who is delivering that feedback to you. If it's someone that you don't trust or hasn't done something that you want to do, then maybe discard it. This person, I think she has achieved a lot. I was like, yeah, that's a person that there's some validity in that response. So that's one thing, is don't take feedback from everyone. Otherwise, that's a really quick way to destroy your self-worth. But the second thing is, good on you for opening yourself up to getting feedback, because a lot of the time, I guess my first instinct was to hide from it, discard it, defend it. And so it does take a bit of time, maybe just to see, like, what is in this. And if that has happened to you, could you read it in a Nikki Glaser voice and kind of make it more fun for yourself? That's it for today. Thanks for listening to the show, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.